first at 6, that alleged plot to kidnap and kill Governor Gretchen Whitmer making headlines once again.
A new court filing from one of the men charged alleges that the FBI was working with at least 12 different confidential informants within the Wolverine Watchman militia.
We're going to start this hour with Fox 17's Michael Martin. He's been combing through those documents all day and joins us in the newsroom with what you found, Michael.
Yeah, Doug, Ryan, essentially the defense team for one of the men facing federal charges, Caleb Franks, is trying to lay the legal groundwork for an entrapment defense. And they're asking for all kinds of exculpatory information from the government, including communications between special agents and the confidential informants on the ground. Now, Frank's defense saying in this most recent filing that he's simply a firearm enthusiast who never intended to actually kidnap the governor.
These 5 men are facing federal charges for what the government calls a plot to kidnap and kill Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Keep moving.
Members of a group called the Wolverine Watchmen. They were spotted at anti-lockdown protests at Michigan's Capitol last year, now looking at felony charges of conspiracy to kidnap. But a motion recently filed by defendant Caleb Franks is raising questions around the case. It alleges that the government was working with 12 different confidential sources within the group. His attorney now requesting all information on those informants from the government to better prepare for trial. But one of the defendants, Ty Garbin, has already entered a guilty plea and has agreed to fully cooperate with the prosecution.
When one of the co-defendants comes in and says, no, we all talked about it and they were really involved, they were anxious, and they really wanted to do this. And that kind of belies what they would testify to as to being convinced to do it by an undercover officer.
Regardless, Frank's defense team is laying the groundwork for an entrapment defense. Writing in their motion, when Caleb Franks set out to train in weaponry and tactics, enjoy time outdoors, and spend a Midwestern summer trying to find respite from the cares of professional and personal obligations and demands, he had no thoughts of harassing the government, staging a coup, or ending up on the national stage as an alleged terrorist.
In either case, they're going to be trying to present evidence to show that the defendant was not predisposed to commit the crime. That's going to be the big thing that they're going to be pushing on.
In the prosecution's complaint, they note that on July 7, 2020, in the midst of the alleged plot, that Frank said in front of a confidential informant that he was, quote, not cool with offensive kidnapping and that he was just there for training. But law professor Jeffrey Swartz says it's not a slam dunk defense.
It is a very difficult mountain to climb, because it probably, more than anything else, will require that the defendants testify.
The recent filing also outlines potentially problematic relationships between confidential informants and the FBI, saying one has a, quote, decades-long history of acting as a professional snitch for the government, while pointing out that another received about $54,000 for his cooperation, and a third received an envelope with $2,500 inside.
What the police officers communicated between themselves has nothing to do with whether the defendant was given an opportunity to commit the crime and did it willingly, as opposed to the defendant not being predisposed, and that the police officers presented more than the opportunity, but the ways, the means, and the impetus to commit the crime itself.
While federal investigators have every right to utilize such confidential informants, Frank's defense team says he never would have participated in such an alleged plot if it wasn't for their influence on him. And now they want to get their hands on the federal documents they hope will prove it.
And several of Caleb Franks' co-defendants are now trying to request some of these same documents from the prosecution themselves. Now, theoretically, prosecutors are legally obligated to turn over anything that could indicate innocence on part of the defendant. The court will, of course, have the final say on what they actually have to turn over. We'll bring you those updates as they become available. For now, though, live in the newsroom, Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
Yeah, thanks for that update, Michael. And we're also getting a first look at some of the evidence being used against Barry Croft Jr. He is also charged in that alleged plot to kidnap and kill the governor. These photos were used during his detention hearing back in January, but they were only released after a coalition of media outlets, including Fox 17's parent company, Scripps, petitioned the court to get them. One photo shows the Delaware man holding up a Boogaloo flag. Another shows him holding a tactical shotgun, and a third picture is allegedly of Croft's modified rifle. Text messages were also released, part of that thread. It includes images of a highway bridge near the governor's vacation home in Antrim County that the group allegedly planned to blow up to slow police response. And Croft is facing multiple charges, including kidnapping conspiracy and conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. He's being held without bond right now. He faces trial in October.